Then in November, we planned to attack Bokomero. Bokomero they were killing people. So we wrecked it, and so in that the Gombora area, and we moved with the force we had in Kabarega. By then we had received after we had received some guns from Libya, so we were really, in addition to the few police stations we were attacking and a few ambushes, we had raised a few guns. We started each unit with 3 guns first. Kabarega 3 guns, Nkuruma 3 guns, Ruta 3 guns, Mondlan of late Rijema 3 guns, and they had 24 guns at Matuga, the headquarters. So each of these units was supposed to raise guns on its own. As the president was telling you, it was gun raising by whatever means. So after we received some guns from Libya, so we planned to attack, our unit to attack Bukomero. I led that battle, and my 2IC was the late Namara Tabarwa. We went with the company force. Of course, most of the people were commandos. That's how we used to operate. You would go with the force, but with many people, with a view that if any gun is captured, you have somebody to hold it and use it immediately. Now, when we attacked Bukomero from up, it was 2 up with the Namara head. We were able to go through the objective, but one person remained in one of the rooms, one of the houses. When the first platoons went through, and our unit, my platoon which was coming, that person is the one who shot at me with a machine gun. I had just done this to that's when I was shot, and me, I thought the whole face had gone off. This microphone is no longer working. Is this one working? Yes. So when I touched my face, I found it was there. So I had a scarf, I tied myself, and my escort came and carried me behind a bit, and our signal for withdrawal was a whistle which I was holding, so I was able to blow the whistle for withdraw. Then the force of Katawara withdrew, and my escort, Sula and Kanabi, carried me, and we went near a house and found there a bicycle. But it had no pressure in the tires. So they sent me on that bicycle of the Rupanka. From Bukomero up to cross, we came just as the road we came through, up to cross Mayanja, to the hill above Mayanja where we crossed. It's a very long distance on that bicycle that had no pressure, but I had tied myself. Now, when I reached the unit where Tinyefuza, who had stayed back with the force, we moved from where single training wing is now. That's the camp from which we moved to go to attack Bukomero. So when we left, they changed the position and went into the hill on the right side of the road. So that's where, by the time I reached there, I think I was not able. Then I was told that they gave me Valium, I slept. Then they started an argument. What did they do to me? The 2 choices were either to finish me off so that they are able to move without trouble, or to risk and try and see whether life would be possible otherwise. So they had a good argument, they argued. Unfortunately, they decided the right way. So they decided that, okay, let's push him. If he dies on the way, then blood will not be on our hands. So again, they put me on another bicycle, but this time at least it had pressure, and I was unconscious. I was not able to know what was happening until we reached somewhere in the middle. Now they were pushing me towards Luta, where Ndukashaka was the commander. Now on the way, that's when I woke up. Now as we were entering the quarter guard, soldiers started crying. But something told me, you will survive. And I told them, I will survive. I was not seeing them. I was all wrapped up. I told them I will survive. So we slept there. Then they were arranged and we were moved to the next camp of Abdul Nasser in Matuga the following day. And I must thank, the first treatment I got, I think, was very helpful, because I think they gave me good antibiotics. So even which camp I would reach, they would give me injections. So when we reached Matuga, they were able to organize, our people connected and organized a vehicle, which would go through so many roadblocks. And because we had no other way, all the medical people we had at that time, we hadn't to go to doctors. The medical assistant we had was saying there is no way anybody can manage this, it will need an operation. So we risked, and they took me to Mulago from the bush, where we had some of our contacts. We had doctors there, Professor Tumwine. Actually, when we were, sometime when we were in Matuga, in one of the operations, apart from them treating the late Ahmed Seguya, they also treated Muntu, who had one time got injured in the chest, and he came back. And they were treating our people, would send our people there, we treat them, and they bring them back. So Professor Tumwine connected with Dr. Makumbi, who was the superintendent of the hospital, Dr. Yombia, who after the meeting me the following day went to Zimbabwe in exile. Then Dr. Gwasaze, who was an eye specialist, and Dr. Ndaula. Dr. Gwasaze died, the late Gwasaze, and then Dr. Ndaula, who was a specialist of bones, who later became our chief of medical services before Dr. Makumi. So they coordinated, and they were able to rush me the following day to the theater. Now, and then connected with our people. Now, the time I was coming from the theater, as I was recovering, I recovered kicking and saying, we shall fight Opote. Now, Gwenny Kategaya had just brought a mattress to the hospital and met me when I was just coming out of the theater, and was as she had just arrived with her mattress, and I was being pushed from the theater, is when I was kicking, we shall fight Obote, we shall kill him, we shall. Now he ran away for her life, justifiably. Now the nurse, you know, God works through many. When Chanda was sharing yesterday, some of these things are very interesting. One of the nurses decided to give me a sleeping injection there, between the theater and the bed. Now, two of the people who were pushing, one of them ran away. So a second one stayed with the nurse, they pushed me to the bed, then he also went. Now, when I woke up, the nurse said, first of all, the story was, when I was using the porter's tickets of Ruachigundu. One of my famous names is Ruachigundu. One of our, when recruits would come, would remove their porter tickets. So I was called Ruachigundu. So this nurse asked me, Ruachigundu, really, what happened to you? My story was that I had my car, I even created the name, it was a Fiat Marfiori, which was robbed from me, and I was shot. She kept quiet. But she became very interested, and was the one who used to come to me almost every day. I think eventually, she must have been trusted by Dr. Makumbi. So eventually, when they were coming to check on me, Dr. Gwasa, the eye specialist, he said, this man is very lucky. He said, if the bullet had gone 1 millimeter up or 1 millimeter down, he would have died because there are two arteries just above and below where the bullet passed through. He said, this man, so I said, I am very lucky. He said, no, we are the ones who are very lucky. The nurse had. So when they had left, the nurse again asked me, why was the doctor saying that they are very lucky? I said, they love me, they like me. Then she opened the truth. She said, I know. So that worried me a little bit. This one, who knows? And our people came. Now, one of the people who came was a damper who used to be who used to go to the town and back. Clandestine operatives. Now, when he came, he brought me a pistol, that I should stay with a pistol on the bed. I told him that might be very dangerous. You take back the pistol, because anything could happen and it could be discovered. So he left. Now, then after that, I talked to the nurse. She became my friend, but I didn't tell her details. So I told her that when they bring bed sheets, let them bring me an extra bed sheet. She said, for what? I said, it helps me. I can use it better as a towel than using a towel. She said, for what? I said, you bring me an extra bed sheet. Now, I was on the 6th floor in room 17. Where I was, I got a kettle, these kettles which, for boiling water, they shine very well. So I put it in the next bed, a bed with outside near my screen. I would be able, when I was on my bed, I would be able to have the reflection of who is coming at the entrance. So what came to my mind was that I should find a way of paratrooping through the window. Now the extra sheet I wanted was to tie the bed sheets. So I had reached 7 bed sheets. Whenever they would bring the extra, I would tie it on my bed. When they are not there, I test it on how far it would go through the window. I would not let it roll down. Now one day, they got information that actually they arrested our driver who took me to the hospital. Some information, we don't know how it went. It leaked. Now, they wanted to check every bed in Malago. And the person they used is an engineer. He's still alive. Who was with me in Lumumba. Who would know me very well. So they said he should come checking the beds as if he's checking for engineering purposes. So one time, I would see what people would be coming on that kettle. Then I saw a group of 4 people walking very fast like soldiers. And as they got close, I recognized he's a short engineer, short and fat. I recognized him. He came closer, I recognized him, so I covered my face. One of these parts was covered, but even the eye which was seeing, I covered, and I could see through the handkerchief. And so fortunately, he came, checked my bed, and passed. He didn't see me. So after that, information was got to our people. The following day, I saw Mzee Alhaji Chigongo come and told me that we have got information that Bakunonya, they know you are in Mulago. So we did not check out, we were not discharged because the doctors were not around. In the evening, we walked up into his car and I covered my head a bit more. Now, he said that he has talked to the doctors, they say they can follow me in Rubaga. Now, as we were going to Rubaga, we reached Nakulabie on a roadblock, and I found a policeman who was among the trainees I was training in Masindi. He was actually a relative of General Tumukundi. So he used to come to see me. He used to, even as a trainee, he would come to my house. He's a very tall policeman. He's now retired. So he's the one who was on the roadblock and another person. I was not sure whether he would, if he recognized me, he would not leak it. So he stopped us at the roadblock. Then Mzee Chigongo said, when I recognized him, I again covered my face. Then Mzee Chigongo said, I have a patient whom I'm rushing to hospital. The man wanted to look at me. Then Mzee Chigongo said, I have a patient. I said, okay. So that was another escape. I was taken to Rubaga Hospital. Now these doctors, our team of doctors, followed me there. They would come to Mura. Now when I reached Rubaga, the doctor in charge was a doctor who was with me in Lumumba. Now that was another test. See, that's why I changed the title of my book, Surviving for a Cause. I did not know what side he belonged. So I kept this story. I told him of having been shot in my vehicle and my vehicle robbed. So he went. But until after about 4 days, when he came and said, I know. That I know used to worry me so much. I know. So I then started engaging him and befriending the nurses, whom I would never tell the truth. Now when we were there, that was when the Kairas were raking to attack Luviri. So one day I was in my bed, there was this Palestinian guy who was working with the Kairas, Sadat. So I saw somebody climbing on top of the hospital, who looked a white person, and I saw him. Then I saw he was a Palestinian. I got suspicious. I said, are they planning to bomb the hospital or what? So I got a bit worried, and then requested our people. I spent a whole month in Mulago, by the whole month, and then another 2 weeks in Lubaga. And then we had information that they may know you are in Lubaga. So I said, I don't want to play with other chances. I requested, take me as I am. And they were able, so Mzee Chigongo and our contacts organized and took me back to the bush. I found our camp in Mugogo. By then I had improved very much, but I had stitches which needed to be removed. And I want to really thank the daring of those doctors. Do you know that they followed me? They came from Kampala to the bush to remove the stitches in the bush. Now when they were going back, they almost fell in an ambush after Matuga. They were using the Kasangat road. So they were told there are 3 roadblocks and they are looking for a particular vehicle. I think they had informers who would tell them a certain vehicle has gone to the zone area. So luckily enough, they were able to dodge the roadblock, go through the villages, slowly, and eventually were able to reach Kampala. But they dared and followed me, even in the bush. Now, when that's when I was appointed. As I was recovering, I was appointed. After that, our local doctors continued treating me, and I was then appointed the chief of barracks and stores. As I was, but when one time we were in a discussion, and some of our commanders were suggesting that I go to Nairobi. And I told our commander that Afandi, we who graze cattle, If you get injured with the cattle, you don't leave the cattle. You keep with them until somebody else relieves you. You don't abandon the cattle because you have got injured or you have got a problem. And I was able to stay and recover and continue with the struggle. Until 1985, just to cut the story short, when I was having bad headaches, and it was decided that I go to Nairobi. So much of the side, this latter part of the struggle, of the last part, the last year of the struggle, the last part of the year, I was in Nairobi. That's when I went to Nairobi, I found a lot of interesting things here with our external committee. The external committee had problems, they were not working together, and I want to thank Matthew Chikeire. Really, he was always trying to unite them, but they were. So we started mobilizing the external committee, and they were coming together. We visited those who were very far in schools, in where, after I had got my operation, after the operation in Nairobi. Actually, the operation also almost killed me, because the doctor in Nairobi decided to do local anesthesia around the eye. He did not want to paralyze me or to anesthetize the whole body. Now, in the middle of his teaching, the anesthesia was no longer working. So I could hear him tear my skin. It was a loud as he would tear, and it was very painful. I almost died. So by the time, so when I shouted, he added another anesthesia, but it had been very, very painful. That was very, and he ended up not actually doing the correct thing. I had eventually to go to Cuba when we had captured power. But from Nairobi, that's when we were involved with the peace talks, which we were calling peace jokes. And but now, when I was in Nairobi, one of the interesting things was our connection by telephone of Kampala. We created a huge network. We had a contact in the post office who was enabling our people to ring without paying. So I had contacts in Entebbe, I had contacts in Rubiri, I had contacts in the groups of the Rutwa government. We had, and would talk to them. After my operation, our people organized, and our Kenya government was staying in Hilton, which became like a command post. And then eventually they carried a radio from the bush. Rutaya brought a radio to us in Nairobi, because even when HE was there, we were able to communicate until the capture of Kampala. Just to cut the story short, I thought I would give you that side of the story. The details will come in our writings. I noticed that we all have many gaps. There is no way we can remember everything. Our HE is very good at, he has a very good memory than most of us. But what I wanted to share with you is that here I am, who has enjoyed the teaching, the guidance, the leadership of somebody I could not understand how he could finish that here yesterday. So again, we are the lucky ones who are here.